All right, so we've got a lot of happenings in the cases against Illinois' gun and magazine ban, including in the U.S. Supreme Court, where the plaintiffs had to notify Justice Amy Coney Barrett that the Seventh Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals has denied an en banc review of the three-judge panel's ruling, vacating a lower district court's preliminary injunction and saying that the state had a likelihood of succeeding on the merits. So you've got the en banc panel being denied. And next step is, of course, the U.S. Supreme Court, where you've got the plaintiffs saying, look at this, Justice Amy Coney Barrett, this is what's happening in the Seventh Circuit. Welcome back. It's Bishop on Air. Thanks for following along. You can do this each and every weekday morning, about 7:35-ish we go live, and of course the live show gets segmented out where you can watch this on the channel as well. So appreciate everybody tuning in here live. But let's go ahead and look at the Seventh Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals filing here, and this is where you can find these documents. Court listeners, one of them. You've also got Pacer, but you got to pay for that. So here's the statements from the judges of the Seventh Circuit. They say plaintiffs filed a petition for rehearing and rehearing en banc on November 8th. No judge in regular active services requested a vote of the petition for hearing en banc, and all members of the original panel have voted to deny a panel rehearing. The petition for rehearing and rehearing en banc is therefore denied. So you had that filed yesterday in the Seventh Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals. But what you also had happen yesterday was the plaintiffs in the Naperville case in front of U.S. Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett. If you recall, they docketed that, and they had a response that was ordered by the state, had to respond by December 6th. The states did just that, and then you had the plaintiffs reply to that. Well, yesterday, the plaintiffs filed a letter to Justice Amy Coney Barrett, essentially spelling out that applicants in the above captioned case noted in their application that they filed a petition for rehearing en banc, and the U.S. Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals earlier today entered the attached order denying the petition, and we just looked at that particular order. But again, there were multiple denials with the Seventh Circuit because you had all those cases consolidated. And what's important to note here is these consolidated cases were not on the merits. These consolidated cases were on preliminary injunction requests. In the Southern District, you had Judge Stephen McGlynn issue a preliminary injunction that was effective statewide until you had the Northern District cases where several judges in those cases separately sided with the state, saying the state had a likelihood of prevailing on the merits. Those were consolidated in the Seventh Circuit. Seventh Circuit did have one case, the Naperville case, ask the U.S. Supreme Court to intercede and provide a preliminary injunction, but the U.S. Supreme Court did not do that, as the Seventh Circuit consolidated all the cases and put it on what's considered the rocket docket. So you have those cases now, at least when the preliminary injunction phase, no longer in the Seventh Circuit, and I guess you're going to see even more people file to the U.S. Supreme Court. But of course, that first case, Naperville, that is in front of U.S. Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett. So clearly, there's some fascinating movements when it comes to the U.S. Supreme Court case, the en banc being denied, and what's happening next here. Hannah Hill with the National Association for Gun Rights on Twitter kind of explained next steps here. She says that we have 3 months to file our cert petition, which will be on the merits. In the meantime, our emergency appeal is still pending with SCOTUS, and we're very anxiously awaiting their decision there. Stay tuned. So clearly, you've got SCOTUS that had to be notified of the en banc denial, at least in the Naperville case. So will we see other cases filed to the U.S. Supreme Court to take up the preliminary injunction, or are we going to have some movement on the merits? All of this happening while you've got the Southern District of Illinois today going to hear a challenge on the gun registry. And even Judge Stephen McGlynn, he made clear that the Seventh Circuit was dealing with the Second Amendment gun ban issues. The Southern District's now going to deal with the gun registry issues. So there's a lot more to be said about all of that. But while that's going on, you've got Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul, who is working with the state of California in defending that state's gun ban. Attorney General Raul put out this statement yesterday saying states should be able to protect residents and communities by passing laws restricting the sale and possession of, quote, assault weapons. I will continue to collaborate with my fellow attorneys general who prioritize public safety by defending common sense gun safety measures. The case Miller v. Bonta concerns the constitutionality of California's assault weapons ban, and the coalition filed an amicus brief in support of California in the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. So Raul goes on to spell out some of the things that he believes allows for states to ban weapons, certain types of firearms. They say it's to protect public safety. Assault weapons are not protected by the Second Amendment because they're not commonly used for self-defense, they claim. California's assault weapons ban is consistent with the historical tradition of regulating and imposing restrictions on new and distinctively dangerous forms of weaponry, they say. So these are some of the arguments that you can see that are going to be made in the ongoing appeals, especially with a state like California that's had a ban in place longer than Illinois, and that case in particular in the Second Circuit has made its way through a variety of hoops as well. So there's a lot of moving pieces on all of this, and clearly it's something that we're going to have to continue to keep an eye on here. So be sure to stay tuned with Bishop on Air. Plenty more to get to. Stay with me. I got to take a break, but we will get lined up with Josh Witowski from an organization that's challenging the gun ban rules. So stay tuned. We've got a lot to get to here with Bishop on Air. All right.